to Yoga Therapy Thursdays. This week we're talking about flexion and extension in shoulder mobility. Flexion and extension may be seemingly easy, but it can be a little tricky because it moves in the same direction as our spine. So flexion is reaching the arms up overhead, extension is taking it behind you. When we reach our arms up overhead, we're moving in line with our spine, and we have the ability to arch our back or expand through the front side of our body to give us what seems like more extension, when in all reality, the extension is coming from our spine and not actually through our range of movement in our shoulders. One of the simplest ways to mobilize the shoulder is to reach the arms up and back. At least mobilize the shoulder through flexion and extension. It's easiest to do this while you're standing up. So just simply swinging and being really mindful if you feel or hear anything that seems a little off, and stopping where it feels comfortable to stop. So I'm not swinging my arms as far as I can go and getting a hard stop. I'm just naturally swinging my arms. The purpose of this mobilizing section in our Yoga Therapy Thursdays is to help you mobilize your arms. But with flexion and extension, there's often a desire to increase mobility. Something you can try to help with shoulder mobility is to take a block. I have a BOGA block here, so it's a little bit heavier. A lighter foam block or even maybe a shoe would be perfect for this as well. Think about pressing the block between your hands, low belly pulls in, and just think about lifting your arms up. And if you feel the need to extend through your chest, your thoracic spine, come back down and stop. If this is as far as you go, that's fine. You can repeat this going up and down as far as you can take the block without reaching into your thoracic. Using a strap or a stick is another way to help mobilize the shoulders through flexion. So I have a BOGA bar. I can take my hands as wide as I would like or as narrow as I would like. I haven't warmed up today, so I'm going to take my hands a little bit wider, but not to the end of the stick. Again, you can do this with a strap or a broom. Arms go out in front of you, and similar to using the block, think about drawing your navel in and lifting the arms up and making sure those ribs stay in. And just go as far as you need. You can also, if you have the flexibility, I'm going to take my arms a little bit wider, go all the way up and around and behind you. And this is continuing that flexion all the way through and kind of gets you actually into extension once your arms are behind you. When working through shoulder mobility, making sure that you can't extend through the spine or giving yourself some form of proprioceptive feedback is really helpful. You can do this laying down on the floor or sitting up or standing up against the wall. So same thing as before, you can just reach your arms out and all the way up as far as you can go without the ribs coming forward or reaching through that thoracic spine. Another option is to do this with your block. Block out in front of you, raise the arms up, and when the block touches the wall, if your ribs are still connected to the wall, you can come back down. If you want some proprioceptive feedback, but a block just isn't right for you, you can try using a strap or again some sort of stick, or I have a BOGA bar here. Placing the hands equidistant apart, keep that load back against the wall, and then lift the arms up. See if you can get into the wall behind you. It's really tough. And then back down. Now for shoulder extension, if you don't want to work against gravity, leaning up against the wall and reaching the arms back behind you is a nice way to practice shoulder extension and making sure that you're not swinging. You can also try one arm and then the other as well. If you have a lot of shoulder mobility and want to continue working into it, laying prone on the mat with the arms out in front of you and then lifting them up can help with increasing shoulder flexion. For shoulder extension, if you're not standing up, laying prone on the floor, lifting the arms up towards the ceiling from alongside the body is another way to work into shoulder extension. Another way to practice shoulder mobility is to lay supine on the floor. Laying supine on the mat, thumbs point up. Think about drawing your low back and your low ribs to the floor, and they're probably not going to touch unless your knees are bent, the soles of the feet are on the mat, and you're actively pulling your low belly in so that part of your body connects to the floor. Either way, think about engaging your core, reaching the arms up overhead. I'm going to touch my wall until your thumbs touch, and then come back down. And just arms up and down. Laying on your back changes the direction that gravity is affecting you. It makes this part of coming back down to the floor behind you, that full range of extension, makes it a little bit easier. Gravity is helping you out, but you also need to make sure that you're using your core to keep your body nice and straight. So the extension comes through the shoulder and not from your spine. Thank you for joining me this week on Yoga Therapy Thursdays. Don't forget to check out my co-host, and I'll see you next week.